This whole ego thing, right, man? I think that it's obvious, man. Everyone has this issue of a line between what is ego, what is valuing yourself, feeling confident to get on stage and perform, and what is something that hinders you, right? Yes. And you start putting your soul into thinking about yourself in such a big way that you have to stand out, and that hinders you in music. It hinders you in personal relationships, right? Yeah, man. Have you never had a problem with that? Have you always been well resolved with this issue, with ego like that?
Yes, man. I always have been. I think I've always understood that we're not better than anyone else, right, man? We always have something to learn, right? So I've always had that firmly in my mind, you know? It's all mine. My purpose with music is to be able to influence, to help, to bless people through what I go through. You know, the video of Vi, for example, right? I still remember today at the end of the video, I wrote some things, right? So my intention with music is to contribute, right? And I think when we look at music as a form of competition, I think it's no longer something enjoyable. You know, because the person is already like, damn, what is the other guitarist going to do? Especially when you're going to play together, right? What will happen? Wow, I have to come. And I think when we don't have that mindset, we stay calm. Like, man, we have to have fun. There have been times when I played at a workshop where you know when you realize that the environment, sometimes the guitarist went up, damn, this guy is kind of trying to compete, you know? Then there's no chemistry, you know? Yes, exactly. Because it seems like you have to follow that line, right? And it has happened to me. I've noticed that. Man, I came here, damn dude. Let's build something so that later we can come to the creation and be more, man. There was already that imposition of mine. And damn, it's not cool. We have people who want to hear later, like a comment saying one is overshadowing the other, right? Exactly, man.
You go play there, for example, a G3. Man, there are 3 guys playing, each one will look. And you have those comments like, wow, I really like Eric Johnson. But then there are those comments like, Steve Vai has much more technique. When someone comments like that, they are completely ignorant about music, right? Oh, Steve Vai is the one with the most technique. Hey, man, what does that have to do with the sound of Eric Johnson or Steve Vai? Technique makes each one play in their own way. Well, David Gilmour has technique, a lot to control their bands, make them sound cool, so it's complicated, so let's go. And the haters? You were heavily bombarded and didn't stop, but did you ever feel like stopping, man?
Man, feel like stopping. I think not. It never affected you like that. No, man, never. 0. I think 0 is true because my passion was so great, actually. When the thing with Valles happened, that's when I decided to stop playing soccer. Because my dream was to be a goalkeeper, right? My dream was to be a goalkeeper, man. I've broken fingers. I've broken my wrist already. So, like, it was after I decided this side, no, I'd rather follow this music path, right? My shit, man, because it's something I love. That's in my heart. So, like, it's something that really I was called to do, right? Man, when we understand, right? We end up focusing, right? But what was your question? Even the haters?
That's because, let's resituate the folks here. Since you are a very expressive guy, facially, right? You make faces, there's that, right? And there are many people who criticize that, right? And think it's some kind of clowning. I don't even know what kind of way here, but there was that. And that's kind of over now, right? I think you kind of stabilized. Those who like you and those who don't, that's over, right?
Or is there still some, yeah, there still is, but it's less now, thank God, man. But it's on that side with the faces and everything, or not. Also, the side of the faces is the quirky way. I picked up a bit from Steve. In some things.
Yeah, they say you imitate. Steve does too.
Yeah, people say that, man. Like, imitate 100%. I understand. But it used to be much worse. When I shared my videos on Facebook, I moved to Facebook, people would form groups, right? To make fun of me, man. Like, they would take my photos and make memes back then. There wasn't this thing about bullying, right? Giving up. That didn't have a name, true, man. But yeah, people were really hard on me. They made fun of me in every possible way. And I used to comment back then. I would comment, but only with a lot of care. Today, I don't comment on any. I used to comment like, thanks for watching. I would say something like, hey guys, I'm doing this with so much love. I'm being genuine. Why are you doing this and stuff? And people would just pile on. Well, everyone here is like that. Man, I didn't understand why, you know? I would get kind of sad, but what made me not be sad anymore? No, I didn't have a situation. Was playing guitar. I kind of took it out on the guitar, you know? So it was quite complex, man. It was a really difficult phase. I remember that. Controversies. I remember that one of the people who were making fun there, right, man? I remember that after what happened with Vi.
Was this guy the one leading the teasing? Was that it?
Man, I don't know if he was, but he was always there. He was always there, man. I always saw his name. All right? When it came to a fair, it was in 2015. So there. I was at the booth testing the equipment and everything. This guy saw me, man, so I'm doing super well. Then I even asked if he wasn't. We have to repay evil with evil, right? Guys, so I was doing super well, especially since you recognized the guy.
I recognized him, man, and he pretended that, no, it wasn't him.
I'm not saying I don't know if he knew that I knew that I knew that. But I recognized him. Him, man. And then he, talked about my work and everything. Congratulated me. He said, man, I'm going to bring someone here who is a big fan of Chive. Then he brought a very famous guitarist and everything, right? And then he brought her to, watch me testing the equipment there. Because he said she was a big fan of Chive. So it was him and this guitarist, watching, and I not understanding anything. I was like, wow, man, man, how is it, how things change and everything, right?
Man, we don't, but it's that whole issue, man. From afar, it's much easier to hate when you're close. You have a filter of civility. Wait, brother, let's go. Throughout the entire trajectory of human beings, people only lived if they lived in community. It didn't exist. Lone wolf. Lone wolf is the expression of the wolf, right? Oh, the guy is a lone wolf. In the past, the lone wolf would die, brother. 50 guys from the other tribe would come. There, they'd make up a crazy one and he'd die. So the guy who didn't know how to live in a community, who didn't have a social filter, he was excluded and died. So man, over the years, we have learned to be civilized, to have a social filter. When I'm with you here, I'm not going to verbally assault you because I need to coexist with you. Tomorrow, you will be in my path. Tomorrow, I will meet you. At another fair, I won't offend you. But what happens? The internet removed this filter. The guy is here saying, my brother, I can say anything. I will never meet this guy in my life. You understand? So distant, it's easy to hate the person, but when you're close, in a way, here, man, inside, your instinct says, hey, man, tone it down. You don't say what you're thinking. There's this filter. Now you speak more gently. Because otherwise, dude, you'll be excluded. No one will invite you to anything anymore. And you know that the musician who's a jerk, who's a big idiot, he gets excluded and soon he's not working anymore. You know that? It's complicated. Sometimes you say, call the guy, but then no, don't call him. He's such a jerk. Yeah, such a pain. How many times have you heard that, right?
It's true.
This whole issue, right? So you still end up embarrassed? Right, man. In the sense that, well, it's one thing from afar. Up close, it's another, so it's better to just be a civilized person in all situations.
Isn't it true, man? And then it worked out. Afterwards, you guys stayed with me. Everything worked out. So the friendship was just there, right?
Just there. I'm not a trustworthy person.
It was just there and everything else like that. I wish all the success in the world for that person, right? We have to plant in life. That's how it is, right? We reap what we sow. I think that it's always good to be able to bring good things to people, to plant goodness for people, right? And what you said, right, man, about this issue of criticism, it's because sometimes people judge a lot. There were people who had to ask me, forgiveness, man. They said, man, I have to ask you for forgiveness, right after the whole thing, when I started speaking in some places. Because I didn't record many videos speaking, right? Just playing. Then there were people, man, I have to ask you for forgiveness, dude. I said, for what? Man, in circles of friends. I spoke very badly of you. Very badly of you, man. And I didn't know. I didn't know, man. And so people from the musical scene, there were also people kind of anonymous, but there were people, who already had a career and all. And I was left not understanding, right, man? And then the person simply said, man, look, forgive me, I caused you some harm, but I spoke really badly about you and everything. So sometimes we judge without knowing. And from the beginning, I always wrote to people there. I said, man, I'm doing this with so much sincerity, with heart. Why are you doing this to me? So my intention with the guitar is to have fun. It's to have fun, to make people happy, to make people smile. And when I have the guitar in my hand, man, today, in the past, I used to force some mannerisms. Today, it's something that truly is a part of me. Sometimes I'm playing in church, and out of nowhere, my hand, I do some hammer-ons, my hand just goes like that. I say, man, I'm not going to. I used to, after a while, I got a bit worried. I said, wow, man, I'm doing these things. Then I said, no, man, this is already a part of me, So I'm going to let this flow, right?
But that's cool, man, because when you persist, it's always the best remedy. If you had stopped, no one would be talking about any of this. Today, it's kind of like, well, we managed to stop one more person because you inspire a lot of people, right, man? It's true. You persisted, you kept believing in your work, and today we're here talking about how it was. How did you overcome this? Everyone goes through it, right, man? No one reaches. It's true. An interesting place in their career if they haven't persisted and overcome these problems, right?
No, totally, man. It's really crazy, man. Like you said and everything, being here on the podcast, being able to tell these stories, it's something I never imagined in my life. Truly, man, from the heart, really. Playing at a music fair, having partnerships with brands I never imagined, having played with Steve Vai, all of this that happened. It's a dream that seems very distant, right? And to be able to, today, working with music, having experienced all of this is something I just have to thank God and say to everyone, right? All the followers, the people who follow Starling Cast, right? Mateus is in this musician of excellence, right? Who is doing an amazing job for you guys, man. If you have a dream, no matter how impossible it seems, believe. Keep going. There are haters. It's part of life. There are obstacles. There are a lot of things that will make us discouraged, but we need to keep moving forward because ahead there are many things to happen, God. He surprises.
Man, guys, it's funny because even here there are haters.
Seriously, man.
No, there are, man. There are some haters who are funny. There are some haters like that who 99% of the people are super, right, man? Everyone likes it, but there are those guys who come like this. I hate podcasts, but the guy is on the 20th episode. Saying they hate podcasts? Damn, dude, if you hate it, stop insisting, man. The guy is bad-mouthing it to himself.
Oh my God. Will he comment on this one? Do? Oh my God. I'm kidding, guys. Man.
There are some comments like that, man, and it's funny that I see some guys kind of furious. And here, on my account, I'm going to say something you don't know. Here I have access to all the comments. And if I click on the person's profile picture, it shows up. How many comments have they made here? On my channel. Do you see that? You can see. And you can see past comments to check if the guy is coming in a bit sideways, right? Speaking of now my offensive, I say, let me see this guy's history. Then, when someone starts to have a really bad history, man, unfortunately, I hide them from the channel so they won't see anything anymore. Gosh, they won't see anything anymore. I have a level of civility, right? Man, I can't leave the video here. Writing offenses because you start to lower the level of the comments. People love to read the comments. It's true that it creates a toxic environment here, right? Guys, so comment with care.